Well, I truly believe that every single one of us has Torah in our hearts, not simply because we have wisdom to share, but because every single one of our stories can offer something else to. There are two very special people in our community whose Torah we've been trying to share for, a few years now. It seems like every June when I ask them to speak, they travel a lot, so they've been away. And this year I reached out to invite them to speak in the month of June, which is usually when we celebrate our Pride Month, and they're not here. So I said, when is it that you are here? Because it is time to share your Torah. And this Shabbat was the opportunity. So I am very excited to invite Michael Appel and Guy Ronen to come forward to share their Torah with us this evening. I think you guys have been members of Temple Beth Elohim since 2019, something like that. Give or take a few years, yes. So welcome to the Bima. We're eager to hear from you this evening. And let's lift this one up a little higher for you. Who's speaking first? Me. So here you go. Come close.
Okay, can you hear me? Fabulous. So shalom. Erev tov. Good evening. Thank you, Rabbi Sapphire. When we were asked to speak, we wanted to find a way to connect it with the Torah portion of this week, Parashat Tatzria Metzora. This portion includes guidelines for lepers suffering from terrible skin disease, people who have contracted bodily discharges, and the purification of women after birth. Seriously? It was definitely not what we were hoping for. But here we are. It is true, childbirth is not easy. This week, we celebrated the birthday of Israel. In 1948, her labor was not so easy. And at 77, she had a very complicated and sad year. I understand the symbolism of having Yom HaZikaron, Israel Memorial Day, followed immediately by celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. In reality, it is hard to mourn our friends and our children who died at war and then immediately celebrate the birth and survival of our Jewish state. There are still 59 hostages. For Israelis, the Holocaust was just here yesterday, and we are still giving birth and still fighting for our own survival. As for my birth, I feel like I was born twice. Once in Kibbutz Chatzor in the early 70s, and once when I came out at the age of 25. No one ever told me being gay is bad, but I knew internally from a very young age that I should never say anything about it. I wanted to be like everyone else. Who wants to be different? Being a teenager is tough enough. There was no computers, no role models, or positive stories about people like me. I had no friends. Sorry, I had a lot of friends. Oops. I had a lot of friends, but I never told anyone who I really am. As a child, my dream was simple. Like everybody else, I wanted to get married, have children, and a dog. I could have never imagined being married to a man. That was just too far-fetched. Maybe it's a little like the terrible diseases in the parasha. You hide it until you can't any longer. For many years, Jewish GLBT folks have been like strangers in our own midst, foreigners even among our own people, treated as though we had some kind of a strange disease. Coming out was scary, really scary, but it was also freeing and empowering and incredible. Maybe it's because I served in the IDF, and maybe it's just who I am, but after I learned to love myself, I decided that if someone has a problem with me being gay, it's their problem, not mine. and I don't need to explain myself, and I do not need to apologize. It is a process, but I learned that if I am not embarrassed and if I am not hiding, most people really don't care. Not at work, not with my friends and personal life, and definitely not at TBE.
27 years ago this summer, I was sitting in a Thai restaurant on my first date with my now husband, Guy. Mataya tzata min ha'aron, he asked me in his very direct Israeli style. When did you come out of the closet? I had to think for a moment. You see, I knew quite well that I'd only come out of the gay closet a few years earlier at the age of 40, but his use of the word aron, the Hebrew word for closet, made me pause for a minute. You see, aron was one of the first words that I learned in Hebrew school, but it was the Aron HaKodesh, the holy closet or ark that you see behind us. Who said that miracles don't happen? Come on. So in that moment with Guy, it hardly seemed possible that the same word had such different meanings. A little bit of background here. I grew up in New Britain, Connecticut, the hardware city of the world, a gritty blue-collar factory town, Polish Catholic. I went to Casimir Pulaski High School. Our football chant was "Usasasa, Usasasa, hit him in the head with a big kielbasa." Now, nothing against kielbasa, but as a gay, Jewish, intellectual kid, I felt like the leper in today's parasha. So I never really felt at home there, but when I walked into the synagogue and I saw the magnificent Aron HaKodesh, I felt transported. I sensed it was a special place of light and enlightenment. Now, my bar mitzvah was a blur, but I'll never forget standing in front of the Aron HaKodesh with my parents and getting the priestly blessing from Rabbi Zwelling. I felt tremendous pride when I was given the chance for the first time to open the ark, take out the Torah scrolls and read them before the congregation, then gently place them back in the ark. For me, standing at that Aron, the Aron HaKodesh, and the process of becoming a man were as tightly intertwined as the scrolls of the Torah themselves. I didn't realize then that my journey of self-discovery was just beginning, because the Aron that I lived in for 40 years came to feel like a long wandering in the desert. Finding a way out of the gay Aron and rediscovering the Aron HaKodesh took me many decades. We are delighted that our journey took us here to TBE, where we can be who we are, as Jewish and erotic as everyone else. Now, the two Arons, the closet and the ark, they do have one thing in common. You see, learning what is inside the Aron HaKodesh is a lifelong process, never ends. And yes, coming out of the closet as a gay person is a lifelong process too. It is one of the few things that I hate about being gay. I wanted coming out to be swift and succinct so that I could move on with my life. But hardly a week goes by that we don't have to come out to someone in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you. For me, it's okay. I understand that we are a minority, and that when people ask me about my wife and children, it's because they are interested in me, and it does not come from a bad place. I feel fortunate to educate and help people to see that there are gay people everywhere, and it's also opened the door for them to share and ask questions that they might have never had the opportunity to ask before.
Well, we'd like to close by briefly connecting some of these images to today, to the 5th day of Iyar, the 20th day of the counting of the Omer. The attributes associated with the 20th day are Yesod, foundation, and Tiferet, beauty. According to the Kabbalists, Yesod is located directly below Tiferet on the tree of life. Tiferet's beauty is literally built upon the strength and support of Yesod. So too, we feel that the beauty of being out and proud at TBE is knowing there is a foundation of support beneath us. Whatever light we present to you tonight is, at least in part, a reflection of this fabulous community. Well, that's just a little bit about our story. In the gay community, there's a storytelling project called It Gets Better. It helps LGBT youth navigate their way through turbulent waters, gives them confidence and hope that, yes, someday it will get better. Well, that organization didn't exist back in 1996 when I came out, or a few years later on my first date with Guy. But boy, I got really lucky. He has made my life so much better.
My life did get better. I remember 27 years ago meeting Michael and his kids, Ben and Jesse. For the first time, I could believe that maybe, really maybe, I could have a family and my dream maybe become a reality. So for now, what we really need is to get a dog. Maybe we can get his dog.
Can we have your...
Happy Pride and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Michael, don't go anywhere. So I just want to say, now you know why we took you in whatever week or whatever Shabbats we could get you to speak. We said yes, and we want you to know that we appreciate you and we love you, and we're so glad that you're a part of our community. And the whole idea was to give you the honor of opening the ark for Aleinu tonight. But my dreams were crushed on that one. So instead, we're going to give you the honor of standing with us as we count tonight's Omer. I hope that's a good second. So let's rise together as a community as we count the Omer together. Cantor's going to chant the blessing. I'll read it. You can just stand here and look pretty.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer.
Let's count together. Hayom
Hayom
esrim yom shehem shnei shavuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is 20 days, which is 2 weeks and 6 days
of the Omer.